Diseased and malnourished, screaming with pain. This little boy's bloated stomach is full of parasites too.
Doctor, what's wrong with this baby?
The baby has a skin lesion in his head, and also worm in the intestine, and is malnourished.
His family escaped the slaughter in Myanmar, joining the exodus to Bangladesh. There are thousands of sick children here. They're being treated by volunteer doctors barely out of medical school. They're overwhelmed.
We think that he has scabies.
He has scabies as well. Scabies, he's malnourished, he has worms, he's vomiting.
See the
Yes.
This is the common infection.
Common infection. And you're seeing so many of these children.
Highly contagious skin infection.
He has scabies.
He's a very sick boy.
He's a very sick boy. And she's looking also his eyes saying. His eyes saying. You can say. He has also some degree of anemia and also dehydration. And he is also lethargic.
Can he be given a bed in a clinic? Because that's what he needs.
Yes, he needs special care.
But there is no available hospitalized bed or other things that we have to isolate.
There are no hospital beds available.
Available beds are not available. There is so much people, so much children. We see huge children.
This is the scale of the problem facing those young medics. Kutupalong refugee camp is a sprawling mass of inhumanity. But from the sky, this tarpaulin mosaic belies the hell below. More than 500,000 Rohingya have fled a brutal crackdown from the Myanmar military. This is just one part of one camp. Aid has finally arrived. These lines for handouts are growing longer. Because thousands more Rohingya come by the day.
This flow of human misery shows no sign of stopping. They keep coming. Hungry and terrified Rohingyas being loaded onto these trucks and driven off to the camps to a life of uncertainty. How old is this baby?
Baby,
This baby how old?
8 days.
8 days old, this baby.
This baby hasn't even been named yet. Born on the road to protect his life. Now he's on his way to join a new generation of stateless Rohingya children, doomed to spend the rest of their lives in a foreign refugee camp. But despite the hardship they're about to face, these may be the fortunate ones. Many Rohingya have died trying to make it this far.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
This body was found washed up on a beach 4 days after a boat capsized. It was carrying Rohingya families fleeing slaughter in Myanmar. Some 60 or 70 people were packed on board that boat, mostly women and young children. These are the traumatized survivors of that perilous journey, all from the same village in Myanmar. To evade border guards, the crossing was made in the middle of the night. A small wooden boat was sailing in rough seas.
I had my 2 children on my lap. When I saw the wave coming, I tried to pass one to my husband, but we got separated. I was trying to swim, holding on to my 7-year-old son. He told me he couldn't swim anymore and I had to let him go because my youngest boy was swallowing water. Then another wave hit us and that separated me from my youngest child. Another wave hit and we both went under. After we got separated, I began looking for him under the water. I came up for air and after a while his dead body floated up in front of me. I could hear my oldest boy calling out for me as he was being swept away by the current. Both my children died.
Arafat, Ahmed and Mohammed have been left orphaned by the wreck. The boys have lost everyone.
My mom, dad, brother and sister all got separated in the water. Then my mother found me and grabbed onto me. But I told her, "You're going to die and you'll drown me as well." Then she let go and she drowned.
And so too did the rest of Arafat's family. Ahmed was swept up to a nearby mangrove. He held onto a tree until he fell asleep. His mother and sister drowned. Mohammed hasn't seen his parents again. He survived by floating on top of a dead body that drifted into shore. The widows and orphans of that boat wreck have come here to Kutupalong camp to somehow try and rebuild their shattered lives. But there are so many traumatized people here, all trying to wake from their nightmares. They've seen their families drown or butchered, their villages razed to the ground, and their women and girls preyed on by predators in uniform. Women like Shazia and Rabia, who were stripped, beaten and raped at gunpoint just for being a Rohingya in Myanmar.
They came into the village shooting at us. We hid our money and jewellery inside pockets in our dresses. They stripped us naked and stole everything. And this was in front of everyone. If you want to see, I can show you our pockets where we hid our valuables. They came in groups and 1 or 2 stood guard while the rest went into the houses to violate the other women. One grabbed my hand and took me to a path between some trees and pushed me. I fell down and then he began raping me. I started to scream, but then another soldier came and pointed a gun at me. A large number of soldiers came and they tortured and raped whoever they could catch. What they have done to us, I can't even begin to tell you. I escaped to the forest after our village was burnt down. They found me there, alone.
It's rare for aid agencies to accuse a state of rape, but UN doctors working inside Rohingya refugee camps have reported hundreds of cases during the first wave of refugees last October, and with this recent influx too.
Because I was raped, I had to leave my country. Our situation was bad before, but we stayed. There has been violence for 12 to 15 years, but we never left to become refugees. But this time when I was raped, I couldn't stay anymore and left with nothing except for my clothes. What can I tell you of the torture that I've been through? If I tell you, I will start crying. We could not tolerate the torture and misery anymore and had to leave. But we are uneducated and illiterate and can't explain our ordeal properly. There is no peace for us.
Shazia and Rabia, not their real names, told us they want their story to be told, so others like them still inside Myanmar might be saved. And importantly, although persecuted by the outside world, these Rohingya women have not been cast out from their community. They think that's because the attacks have targeted so many of their women.
Rape is being used as a weapon against Rohingya women and girls, and those horrific accounts that have been shared with us aren't isolated cases. It's happening en masse. What's really important now is that the women who come to these camps find safe refuge. They must feel protected.
During conflict, rape is used as a deliberate military strategy. The Myanmar army still denies its ethnic cleansing, but if it is ever held to account for the atrocities committed inside Myanmar, the testimonies of these brave women and other survivors could prove otherwise. Widows like Moyina and orphans like Mohammed are at high risk of exploitation from trafficking gangs. They've experienced unimaginable horror and are still suffering. But now it's the duty of the international community, who have failed the Rohingya in the past, to make sure they are not failed again.